Typhoon Rosita weakens after crossing the rugged terrain of northern Luzon. 2,000 passengers stranded in Luzon and Visayas ports while over 12 million people were evacuated due to Typhoon Rosita. And a total power outage hits Casiguran, Aurora after Typhoon Rosita downed transmission lines. Good evening. The local government of San Fernando, La Union has strictly implemented preemptive evacuation in 14 coastal barangays of the city today. From San Fernando, La Union, Aiko Miguel will tell us why live. Yes, Aiko, good evening.
Yes, Rheena, good evening. Rain started to pour in San Fernando, La Union at past 11 in the morning today. The storm warning signal is still at number 3 as strong and cold winds brought by Typhoon Rosita were experienced earlier but have weakened. The local government is worried over the 3-meter storm surge threat in the city, prompting them to strongly implement a preemptive evacuation in 14 coastal barangays.
Nakausap na rin natin yung mga kababayan natin dun sa especially doon sa mga lugar na delikado yung kinalalagyan nila, doon sa coastal barangays na kung po pwede lumikas na sana sila para nang sa gayon it's mas safe po yung kanilang mga pamilya.
Rheena, the LGU is also prepared to implement forced evacuation once the storm surge threat is still up by tomorrow and residents would hesitate to evacuate.
This last typhoon nung Typhoon Ompong, nagkaroon tayo ng forced evacuation. So pag talagang kakailanganin na hindi pa rin sila nakikinig yung mga kapatid natin dito sa San Fernando, talagang pupuntahan po namin sila para i-forced evacuate po sila dun sa mga lugar po nila.
The City Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council and the Philippine National Police have also conducted a house-to-house warning today to assure that no one is left inside homes near the coastal areas. Some residents of Barangay Ilocano Sur immediately decided to evacuate for their houses were almost reached by ocean waves.
Ma'am, nilagay ko yung mga damit ko sa bahay ng kamag-anak ko po. Kahit malunod po yung bahay, basta ang mga anak ko po, ma'am, nailigtas ko, ma'am.
Mang Rolly assured the posts of his house are tightly fastened to the ground so that his house will not be carried away by waves.
So, nakakuan na kami ng mga gamit namin. Natatakot dahil ganito nga sitwasyon dito, sir. Lahat kami nagsisilikas doon sa evacuation center.
The Boracay family also decided to move to the evacuation area for them not to experience the onslaught of Rosita the way that they did when Typhoon Ompong hit Region 1.
Malakas yung hangin ngayon doon. Tapos po yung bubong po namin nung last na bagyo po yung Ompong, lumipad po kasi yung bubong namin kaya ngayon po nag-evacuate na po kami.
Hindi kayo namin pinipirwisyo. Kasi yung mga ibang nag-evacuate, lalo na kung forcible, magrireklamo pa. Sana magkakaintindihan tayo.
Rheena, San Fernando, La Union has not experienced any power interruption since this morning, and the residents are expecting for the weather to be better tomorrow as Rosita exited the country today. And that is latest live from San Fernando, La Union. Back to you, Rheena.
Aiko, have you checked some of the evacuation centers? Have you seen the evacuees if they have enough food and water supplies in the area?
Rheena, as of 5 p.m. or as of 5 this afternoon, we have gone through the evacuation centers and there are enough food supplies and even some medical assistance for the evacuees, and the local government unit is strictly monitoring their condition in evacuation centers.
All right, thank you so much, Aiko Miguel, reporting live from San Fernando, La Union. Power outage hits the whole town of Casiguran, Aurora after Typhoon Rosita pounded several areas or provinces in Luzon. Farms and other parts of the municipality are also submerged in flood waters. Nel Maribohok tells us why.
The whole of Casiguran, Aurora remains without power after fierce winds and rains brought by Typhoon Rosita down some transmission lines in the municipality. Strong winds also toppled some shanties and structures and other electrical facilities. There is no assurance yet on when the power supply will be restored, so residents here are relying on batteries and generators as alternative power sources. Although there are some who heeded the authorities' advisory to evacuate ahead of Typhoon Rosita, others living in the coast of Casiguran still refuse to leave their homes.
Talaga malakas kanina yung kuwan. Halos sa matanggal nga itong kuwan namin, atip eh.
Bakit di pa kayo maalis?
Wala kami puntahan.
Heavy rains that poured before dawn of Tuesday also flooded parts of the town, including rice fields. Storm surges also waterlogged the national road traversing Barangay Calangguasan, which is the only link to reach the center of Casiguran. Some roads are only passable to trucks and buses, while light vehicles have to wait for flood waters to subside.
Ngayon po ang pinakamalaking baha ngayon. Kasi umabot po rito dati-dati po pag bumaba hanggang doon lang po sa tapat ng DNR. Palayan po yan. Gagapasin nga po yung iba riyan .
Rock slides also blocked the Balera-Dipakulaw Casiguran Road, but soldiers are already trying to clear the path. Nel Maribohok, UNTV News and Rescue, Aurora Province.
Parts of Cagayan province are currently without power after Typhoon Rosita slammed several Luzon provinces. The evacuees are also preparing to go home because of the improving weather. Here's why from Monhokson.
Strong winds and rains battered much of Cagayan province after Typhoon Rosita made landfall over Isabela early Tuesday morning. The typhoon caused 14 cities and municipalities to suffer power outages since Monday. Over 3,000 individuals also left their homes, including more than 200 residents near Chico River, as heavy rains threatened to burst the river banks. Although Rosita brought gusty winds that rattled structures and scattered debris along its streets, no houses were severely damaged and all roads have remained passable. Communication lines are also working and potable water for drinking remains available. The local government of Cagayan also reported no deaths and casualty. As the typhoon continues to move away, the weather condition here has improved, prompting evacuees to pack their belongings and prepare to go home. Most of them plan to leave the shelter tomorrow to continue rehabilitating their farmlands that were destroyed by Typhoon Ompong last month.
May kokonti naman na para lang sa makain na yung palay. Kaya lang walang nakuha. Kasi naompong, dalawang sako. Maghanap buhay na lang, sir. Masipag ka lang.
But local officials say the order to send evacuees home will depend on their situational assessment.
Nanggagaling po sa taas ng Kalinga, doon po nanggagaling yung tubig. So naiipon po dito sa Tuaw, sa bayan namin. Kasi isa po ito, catch basin po. Kaya naiipon, kaya po umaapaw po yung ilog.
The National Grid Corporation, meanwhile, assures to restore the power supply in the province as soon as possible. Monhokson, UNTV, News and Rescue, Cagayan.
A bridge in the town of Rojas in Isabela province collapsed this afternoon due to the strong river current. The bridge that spans the Sifu River connects two barangays in the town of Rojas. Vehicles going to and from Manila are advised to take alternate routes and to avoid the town of Rojas. Houses situated near the riverbank were also flooded and residents were evacuated.
Mga 5:30 ng hapon po sir kanina. Bumagsak po sir. Patuloy po tumaas yung tubig at bumagsak po itong bridge natin. Nagkaroon ng maraming kahoy dun sa part na kung saan bumagsak at naitulak itong ating bridge po sir.
Some 2,000 passengers were left stranded in various ports while 12 million people were evacuated amid Typhoon Rosita's onslaught. Disaster officials also says that no casualties has been reported yet, but a person was feared missing. Leia Ilagan tells us why.
Thousands of passengers were stranded at several ports across Luzon and Visayas after Typhoon Rosita forced the cancellation of boat trips amid a rush of travelers for the upcoming Undas holidays. Based on reports received by the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, some 2,000 passengers were barred from sailing, and majority of the stranded travelers are at the port in Bicol, southern and northern Luzon, and western Visayas. 189 rolling cargoes, 11 fishing vessels, and a motor banca were also barred from navigating the seawater amid huge waves. The NDRRMC says boat trips will push through once the State Weather Bureau Pag-asa lifts the storm signal over areas in Typhoon Rosita's path. 30 domestic and international flights were also cancelled. The NDRRMC further reports that around 12.2 million people were evacuated, mostly in northern Luzon due to Rosita. More than 10,000 residents in Region 1, 2, 3, and Cordillera also fled their homes ahead of Rosita's onslaught.
Region 2 appears to be had the highest number of displaced population at this point in time, 2,101 families or 7,343 individuals in 31 evacuation centers.
The typhoon made a landfall in Isabela province before dawn Tuesday, but disaster officials are yet to receive reports on its damages in affected regions. No casualty has been reported as of this time, though the agency received information about a missing fisherman from Quezon province. The NDRRMC is still validating and consolidating reports from areas pummeled by Rosita. Search and rescue teams are also on standby, as well as ambulances, military trucks, and emergency telecommunication equipment.
The NDRRMC has prepositioned emergency telecommunications equipment through our ETC team. Ito po yung sinabi natin kahapon na just in case magkaroon ng backdown in communication, i-deploy natin sila agad together with our SRR retrieval cluster.
Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue, Camp Aguinaldo.
Typhoon Rosita has weakened after crossing the rugged terrain of northern Luzon. However, rains associated with the typhoon will still be experienced over northern and central Luzon. Leslie Longbowen is at the UNTV Weather Center to tell us why. Yes, Leslie?
Yes, good evening. Typhoon Rosita already exited landmass this afternoon. At 4 p.m. today, the typhoon was located at 125 kilometers northwest of Dagupan City, Pangasinan. It packs maximum sustained winds of 125 kilometers per hour and gustiness of up to 190 kilometers per hour as it moves west-northwest at 25 kilometers per hour. Tropical cyclone warning signal number 3 is raised over Pangasinan and La Union. On the other hand, Abra, Ilocos Sur, Ifugao, Benguet, Mountain Province, Nueva Vizcaya, Nueva Ecija, Tarlac, and Zambales are placed under signal number 2. Meanwhile, signal number 1 is raised in Ilocos Norte, Apayao, Kalinga, Cagayan, Isabela, Quirino, Aurora, Bulacan, Pampanga, Bataan, Metro Manila, Rizal, Cavite, Laguna, and Batangas. Moderate to heavy rains directly associated with the typhoon will still be experienced over northern and central Luzon. Residents in these areas are still advised to take appropriate actions against possible flooding and landslides. Storm surge of up to 3 meters is possible over the coastal areas of Ilocos Sur, La Union, and Pangasinan. Sea travel is risky over the seaboards of areas with tropical cyclone warning signals and the eastern and western seaboards of southern Luzon. According to Pag-asa, the typhoon is possible to exit the Philippine area of responsibility by tomorrow afternoon. That's the weather forecast. Back to the studio.
Thank you, Leslie Longbowen at the UNTV Weather Center. On Usiserong Pinoy, Usapang Sinserong Pinoy, netizens from all over the country are given a chance to contribute their personal stories about Typhoon Rosita. Aldrin Ranillo from Casiguran, Aurora wants Typhoon Rosita to leave the country after hitting land this morning. His Facebook post captured the typhoon's strong winds and heavy rains on their area. DJ Macholis meanwhile uploaded on Facebook a video of a collapsed church in Isabela. Thankfully, he said, no one was injured in the incident. James Ryan Cortel also posted on his Facebook account a video showing the strand of Typhoon Rosita as it batters Madriaga Abra around 6 in the morning. He was happy that all of his family are safe despite power outages. Meanwhile, Rod's Manaligon shared a video on Facebook showing how the typhoon pummeled Saguday, Quirino. And despite strong winds and heavy rains in Isabela, as shown in Tony Salvador's Facebook video, he assured that he and his family are safe. We encourage netizens to share their personal stories, videos, and pictures and send them to untv.usiserongpinoy@gmail.com. Be part of Usiserong Pinoy, sincere stories from our kasangbahay. Up next on One News. DNR fines over 200 non-compliant establishments in Boracay Island. And Malacanang joins OPM artists in mourning the death of music icon Rico J. Puno. Thank you for keeping me company in the first part of One News. More reasons behind the stories with Angelo Castro III and William Thio after this quick break.
Over 1,500 passengers remain stranded at Batangas and Calapan ports after the Philippine Coast Guard canceled boat trips amid inclement weather. Meanwhile, boat trips in Lucena City Port bound for Romblon and Marinduque have already returned to normal since this morning. Let's find out why from Bernard Dadis.
Scheduled trips in Batangas Port bound for Oriental Mindoro, Romblon, and Abra de Ilog are still suspended as Typhoon Rosita continues to move away from the landmass. The Philippine Coast Guard ordered the cancellation of trips Monday to prevent any maritime incidents amid inclement weather, stranding over 1,500 passengers.
Kaya lang kami kasi bumalik. Wala naman kami mauwi ang malapit dito. Sa Cavite lang talaga. Sayang pa ang pamasahe. Yung pamasahe namin, nakain na lang namin din.
In Calapan Port in Oriental Mindoro, 15 passengers and some 186 private and rolling cargoes were also barred from sailing due to the typhoon. But the PCG assures they are assisting the stranded passengers and that their trips will push through once given a clear from the State Weather Bureau Pag-asa. The agency has already lifted the trip suspension in Lucena Port in Quezon this morning after the skies cleared, granting passage for boats bound for Romblon, Marinduque, Atimonan, and Alabat Island. Operators of bus companies in Calamba, Laguna, meanwhile, are reporting delays in their trips due to a lower number of passengers amid Rosita's onslaught. But operators had been anticipating higher volume of travelers during dates leading to Undas holidays.
Dapat po nakalis na yung isa namin eh. Ang problema, wala pang dumarating ng pasahero eh. Tanghali na yun. Ay, sa Bagyuwari ko po at natatakot yung mga bumiyahe, yung mga pasahero at may bagyo.
Bernard Dadis, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Malacanang Defense President Rodrigo Duterte's order to place the Bureau of Customs under military control. The palace also expects that the soldiers' presence in the agency will instill discipline among its employees. Here's why from Rosalicos.
Malacanang believes that President Rodrigo Duterte did not violate any law when he ordered to temporarily place the Bureau of Customs under the military. This is following questions and criticisms over the president's pronouncement and order to put customs employees and officials on a floating status. The chief executive's decision came after billions of pesos worth of shabu slipped by the agency under the leaderships of then Customs Commissioners Nicanor Faeldon and Isidro La Peña. Based on Article 16, Section 5.4 of the Philippine Constitution, no member of the armed forces in the active service shall be appointed or designated in any capacity to a civilian position in the government, including the government-owned or controlled corporations or any of their subsidiaries. Malacanang says the president has the right to make measures to stop the alleged lawless violence in the Bureau.
If you can bring in hundreds of kilos of drugs, then there must be some grave wrong in that area, and there is a state of lawlessness there. It violates the law, it violates the Constitution. You cannot make this president hostage to a particular provision without relating to previous provisions that grant him the authority as well as the obligation and the duty to serve and to protect this nation.
Duterte said earlier that he was forced to order the military takeover because of the lawless elements in the agency. However, Panelo clarified that soldiers will only assist in the operations and will not be appointed to post. The palace also expects that the soldiers' presence in BOC will stop corruption and instill discipline among its employees.
But the president is not appointing or designating any particular member of the armed forces. As we said earlier, these people will be there first to make their presence felt, to create the military presence that hopefully will intimidate those corrupt people there. Number two, to assist them.
Panelo also announces that an official memorandum is set to be released stating some changes in the Bureau. Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
Malacanang confirms that President Rodrigo Duterte is eyeing House Committee on Appropriations Chairman and Davao City 1st District Representative Carlo Nograles as his new cabinet secretary. The CABSEC position has been vacated when former Cabinet Secretary Leoncio June Evasco filed his candidacy for governor of Bohol in the 2019 midterm polls. Duterte is also expected to fill in the vacated position of presidential political advisor Francis Tolentino.
He is one of those being considered. The announcement will be made by the president himself as to the other members of the cabinet who will replace those who filed their certificates of candidacy.
Majority of Filipinos still trust Vice President Leni Robredo despite a 2-point decline in a survey conducted in the third quarter of 2018 by the social weather stations. According to the poll held in September, Robredo continues to enjoy a good net trust rating of positive 38 from positive 40 in June of this year. The pollster added that 59% of Filipinos have much trust in Robredo, 20% are undecided, while 21% have little trust in the Vice President. The SWS explained that the 2-point decline in Robredo's net trust rating was due to decreases in Visayas and the balanced Luzon, which offset gains in her rating in Mindanao and Metro Manila. The camp of Senator Antonio Trillanes is seeking the nullification of President Rodrigo Duterte's Proclamation number 572, which the Makati Court Branch 148 upheld in its October 22 ruling. Victor Cosare tells us why.
Senator Antonio Trillanes IV will seek the court's reversal of the Makati Court's resolution declaring President Rodrigo Duterte's Proclamation 572 as valid. The said proclamation declared the amnesty granted to Trillanes as void ab initio or invalid from the outset. Makati Regional Trial Court Branch 148 presiding Judge Andres Soriano, in a ruling dated October 22, denied the petition filed by the Department of Justice asking the court to issue an alias warrant and a whole departure order against Trillanes. The local court, however, upheld the president's proclamation.
The senator is contemplating on filing his own partial motion for reconsideration to ask the court to nullify the proclamation because they are now trying to use it to undermine or nullify an existing final court decision.
Trillanes' legal counsel, lawyer Ray Robles,
argues that the said proclamation was the administration's tactic to nullify a court decision that has been ruled as final and executory. The lawyer insists such a proclamation is setting a dangerous precedent because it seems that the president is being given the power to veto a court decision.
This could not be allowed because this will be setting a dangerous precedent. No? Imagine if the president has the power to issue proclamation to nullify long, final, and executory court decisions. It's like giving the president the power to veto previous court decisions.
Meanwhile, Malacanang said in a statement, the administration respects the opinion of Trillanes' camp and will let the court decide on the matter. On Tuesday, Judge Soriano gave Trillanes 15 days to reply to the appeal of the DOJ seeking Branch 148 to reverse its decision not to issue a warrant of arrest and HDO against the senator. Victor Cosare, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Over 200 establishments in Boracay Island have been ordered to pay fines by the DENR. Vincent Arboleda tells us why.
The Department of Environment and Natural Resources has ordered 209 establishments to pay 43 million pesos in total for violation of environmental laws. The DENR's Pollution Adjudication Board has fined 110 structures for violations of Section 1, Rule 9 of Republic Act 8749 of the Clean Water Act, 72 structures for failure to obtain permits to discharge water pollutants, a violation of Section 27 of the Clean Water Act, while others are sanctioned for other multiple violations. The amount of fine depends on the length of time the business has been established and the gravity of the offense. Overall, the DENR has ordered a fine of 43 million pesos to all non-compliant establishments in Boracay Island. The written warning has already been sent to each of the establishments for immediate action. Failure to respond to the payment order will not allow them to operate or process any application for permit. The DENR is closely monitoring the compliance of business establishments in Boracay. Meanwhile, despite the ongoing rehabilitation, foreign tourists were happy with the result of the 6-month cleanup and hope it will be maintained to ensure that it will not return to its cesspool state again.
I think the new Boracay it's so clean and it's look like a virgin island. I am happy what I see. There is no lot of garbage and plastic garbage.
It seems like they're doing a good job. People are thinking about the future.
Magtuloy-tuloy yung sinimulan nila na regulations, ma-maintain by sana may supervisory board palagi na mag-check from time to time na nasusunod yung inano nilang batas.
Hopefully they can maintain it to stay like this. Like it's good, the new rules of no drinking in public places and on the beaches. So it's more family orientated. Everyone can enjoy it.
Vincent Arboleda, UNTV News and Rescue, Boracay.
Sympathies pour in after the sudden death of music icon Rico J. Puno. Leslie Longbowen explains why.
Malacanang expressed its condolences to the family of OPM icon Rico J. Puno, who died early this morning. According to reports, the veteran singer died of cardiac arrest at 65. Puno underwent a heart surgery last August and was supposed to hold a concert in November. Presidential spokesperson and Chief Legal Counsel Salvador Panelo says he mourns the loss of a music legend and a personal friend.
We express our condolences to a legend that is Rico J. Puno. He has contributed a lot in the music industry, and personally I feel sad. We had a duet, I think must be 4 years ago in my show. He's a personal friend.
Puno's colleagues in the entertainment industry also grieved the death of the well-loved singer. OPM artists took to social media to express their gratitude to Puno and shock over the entertainer's sudden death. Among Puno's hits include May Bukas Pa, Kapalaran, Lupa, Macho Guapito, Sorry Na Pwede Ba, and others. Leslie Longbowen, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.